Hello everyone, welcome back to Cooking with Donna. Hope everybody's doing great. Today I'm making up some dressing. It's more of an old-fashioned dressing because it has cornbread and some homemade biscuits. But if you're going to make this, make your cornbread and your biscuits the day before and just let them set to dry out. You don't want it moist because that's going to prevent your broth from absorbing, and you want that broth to absorb into your breads. Now I just went with the easy cornbread mix. You can make your own cornbread. Just make you up your regular size cornbread, not a great big one, just a single cornbread mix. I used 2 of these 6-ounce packs. That's what I used, and I made some. I always freeze my biscuits when I make them, some homemade biscuits. Now, don't use canned biscuits. Now, if you don't know how to make homemade biscuits, I'll leave a link in the description. Or you could use the ones in the freezers in bags they have at the grocery store. But please don't use canned biscuits. They will not come out the same. You want them, because the ones in the bag are like homemade. They taste more homemade, and they don't have that different taste that the canned biscuits have, and the texture is like a homemade biscuit. So I'm using, what I have here is my cornbread, and I just crumbled it all up, just into in little cubes like that. You don't want to crumble, you want some texture there. And that's dried up from yesterday. My biscuits, I had frozen. I let them set out. You can hear they're pretty hard. That's what you want. That helps that broth soak into your breads. So what I'm just going to break my biscuits up, just crumble them up, clean hands. You want a little texture left to them, but I'll get those crumbled up, and everything you need is in the description. All right. Okay, I got that all crumbled up, my biscuits and cornbread. You got the best of both worlds in that bowl. But okay, let's get these veggies sauteed up. Okay, now here in my pan, I have my melted butter getting hot or warm. Don't want to burn my butter. And I have some celery diced up and some onions. And we're just going to cook this up, let it saute just until everything starts getting tender. It will finish cooking in the dressing. Maybe 10 minutes tops. All right. Okay. I've had this sauteing for about 10 minutes, just until they start to get a little bit tender. And we'll get this put together. All righty, let's get this put together. All right. Let's get our veggies in there. I don't want to scrape my pan here too much. I love this pan. Okay. And we're just going to get that mixed up. Alrighty. Got that mixed up. Now in my pan here, I have my soup, my broth, my poultry seasoning, my parsley, and we're just going to pour this in here. And if it needs more, we'll add more. And my pepper's in there. Salt will be to your liking. Normally I don't add salt because you got your chicken broth that's salted, unless you're using low sodium. The soup is salted, so you can taste it here. Now I'm not going to preheat my oven yet because I like this to set up, let the biscuits and the cornbread all soak up that broth. Now I can see I'm going to need a little bit more. So I'll get me some more water. All right. Now you can see there how well that soaked up that broth, that biscuit and cornbread. Because normally you'll see that broth right on the side of the bowl. If you try doing it, believe me, I've tried before and I learned my lesson. It's just not the same. And that's the consistency you want it. Now, if you can make this like this, let it cool down because my broth was warm. Stick it in the fridge. Take it out the next day. Kind of let it come to room temperature. You may need to add a little bit more broth. It's even better because that bread and cornbread and biscuits have all the time setting overnight to suck up that broth. You want it something like oatmeal. That's what I always say. The consistency of oatmeal. Because you want to make sure you have enough liquid. It's better to have more than not enough. You don't want a dry cornbread biscuit dressing. But this is like a, I don't know, what did y'all grow up with? Mama always used to make just bread. She would use bread. And she would, cut it up in little pieces and leave it out overnight to dry up. And she'd do wonders with that stuff, but I just couldn't like it much as I wanted to. I couldn't. Till I moved to Texas when I was a child, then I tried cornbread dressing. I was like, oh, wow. And that's what Daddy always ate. He's from Texas. Mama's from New York. So that's how she always made it. But you get the best of both worlds here. You get your cornbread and your biscuit. And a lot of people don't like cornbread because it's too sandy tasting. So by adding the biscuits, makes a nice creamy stuffing dressing. Well, stuffing if you stuff it in the bird, and it's a dressing if you put it in a casserole dish. That's what I say. But I'm going to let this sit for maybe 20 minutes or so. But like I said, if you can do it, put it in the fridge overnight, take it, but let it come to room temperature after you take it out. Because you don't want to try to bake it cold because it'll take you forever. But this is a delicious dressing for your Thanksgiving dinner, your Christmas dinner, or just because you want it, and we want it today. So I'm baking up some chicken as well, and we'll have some vegetables on the side with it. But I'm going to let that set up. Meanwhile, I'll preheat my oven to 375. Alrighty, got that all put together. I have this in a pretty large, deep casserole dish because I like thick dressing. Now you can definitely get away with something bigger if you like your dressing, more thin. You could use a 9 by 13. And I just kind of went down in it with a spoon like that. That way I can get some butter to go down in there. We're just going to dab some butter on here. My oven is preheated. I'm going to throw some foil on top of this. And for the first probably 40-45 minutes, I will leave that foil on. Then I'll remove it. Or you can check yours to see if you want. It just all depends on how moist you want your dressing. I'm probably going with maybe a tablespoon and a half of butter there I got. Maybe even 2. And then after the 40-45 minutes, I'll remove that foil. The foil just helps it stay moist and cook. Then I'll remove it just to brown it a little bit. And I'll let you know how long mine takes. Now this is some delicious dressing. It's got that old-timey texture and flavor to it, and I truly hope y'all give this a try. In the oven it goes. Now I got my foil on. I also wanted to bring up to y'all, if you got some leftover chicken and you just want a complete meal, throw you some cooked pieces of chicken in there. It'll help flavor it, and you got your protein in there. Delicious meal. Even if you say, hey, I'm going to be in town, I'm going to pick up a rotisserie chicken. Chop you some of that up and put it in there. Make a complete meal out of it. In the oven it goes. Okay, sweet friends, there is the dressing. Now mine took an hour and a half. Now remember, I like mine thick, so it took longer. But if you use a bigger pan, it it's not going to be as thick and yours won't take as long. Just until it's nice and set in the middle, nice and firm and moist in the middle. I like to put a little bit of gravy over it. It is delicious. I cooked it actually for an hour with the foil on. But just until it's done, I'm going to get some of this out and pour some gravy over it so y'all can see it. Okay, we're going to plate this up right with y'all today. I want y'all to see this here, how nice this is. See how nice and golden that is? And it's nice and moist in the middle. See there? And then we'll just, oh, we just love, love, love this dressing. And I'll just pour some gravy right over top of that. Some black pepper on there. Get my chicken on there and some mixed vegetables we're having with that. Don't that look delicious? I'm going to take a bite with y'all. Even though it's hot, scalding hot, that's how I like my food. Oh, that's good. Hot. But, that biscuit and cornbread mix together like that, it's just delicious. It's absolutely delicious. But I hope you guys give that a try. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe and share. Much appreciated. Go check out my store tab below. Got some nice merchandise there. I guess that's about it. I hope you guys make some of this up and give it a try, maybe on your holiday table. But until next time, we will see you guys later. Eat well, love one another, stay blessed, and we will see you guys later. I'm going to eat. Bye-bye.